ChatGPT does not run a stable ranking algorithm the same way Google search does. According to a network traffic teardown by SEO practitioner Suganthan, source selection actually lives in an editable server-side policy, so something OpenAI can write about without retraining a single model or telling anyone. And the newly exposed field at the center of it, the runner-up layer, is what makes the mechanism readable for the first time. Now, OpenAI supplied the proof of that themselves, which is the part I find hard to argue with. Suganthan published his teardown on July 14th. 8 days later, on July 21st, OpenAI deleted result source, the exact field his evidence depended on, and then by the next day replaced it with a new field called search result groups. Nobody announced the change and no model was retrained. A policy that can be rewritten in 8 days is not a stable ranking system, and that rewrite is what demonstrated it. Underneath that policy sits two hidden system messages tagged in the metadata as identity prompt and sources and filters prompt, and they get injected into every conversation before ChatGPT answers. Suganthan's teardown confirmed the second message's slot is present 64 times across his 30 conversations sample, even though his actual text is stripped server-side and never reaches the browser, so not in the live stream and not in the stored conversation JSON either, which means you cannot read the instruction, but you can still prove it exists. The second half of the mechanism is a retrieval layer built out of named pipes. Bright Data Scraper, Labrador, a licensed content pipe, SERP, and then a fourth one, Bing, gated to only a subset of accounts. So picture those four as a sequence a query passes through before ChatGPT decides which one actually fetches the page behind a citation. Across his own 30 conversation sample, Suganthan counted Bright 558 times, Labrador 21, SERP 16, and Bing 0. And that is one account's numbers way too small to call a platform-wide ratio. And the same URL reached two different accounts through two different pipes in the same week, which is cohort gating in the plainest terms, so a fetch mechanism switched on for some users and not others. Now, for the field that makes all of this legible, a newly populated field called supporting websites in Suganthan's capture, which is the runner-up layer, now lists the pages that supported a cited claim but did not win the cited slot. You watched it show up two ways: same domain, where a domain's own near duplicate pages basically lose to each other, and cross-domain, where competitors line up against each other for one sentence. So ahrefs.com beating semrush.com and mj12bot.com for the same crawler verification claim in his example. And that turns into a sealed, unreadable mechanism into a per claim scoreboard that anyone can pull from their own conversation history. In terms of what to do with it, 3 moves follow directly. Audit your own runner-up layer on the queries that matter most to your business, and then consolidate near duplicate pages instead of letting them compete against each other for the same slot. Keep cohort-gated pipes like Bing on a routine watch list rather than writing them off. And there is a second, quieter signal worth watching too, because across the same sample, ChatGPT appended the qualifier official to fan-out queries 17 times out of 30. So that is basically the hidden instruction executing in the open, even though you can never read it directly. Field names are going to keep changing. Result source became search result groups in a single day, and the runner-up layer itself already moved once, from writing on retrieval entries to writing on citation items. None of that is really the part worth tracking. The mechanism underneath, which is a policy OpenAI can rewrite overnight, is the only part that survives every rename, and the full teardown of it, sourced entirely from Suganthan on his own capture, is on my website now. So if you could see exactly which page beat you for a citation, what would you fix first? Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.